A few months ago, I converted my Alocasia Maharanis, 2 of them, from soil to Leca, and I used the method which was a little bit unorthodox. I put these plants directly into Leca without going to wash off the roots. And my oh my, am I very happy with that method. Is that a method that I highly recommend? Yes, I highly recommend you try this method. I am sure it is going to work out for you as well as it has worked out for me. So today is just about 2 months since I put these plants into Leca from soil, and look at that. They look beautiful, and you can see over here, there's a new leaf coming through there. The leaves themselves, the leaves that this plant started with, look, they're all still there. So these are all the original soil leaves. And that's something that's really problematic when you're transitioning an alocasia from soil to semi-hydroponics, pond, leca, whatever method you're using. You usually end up losing quite a fair number of those original leaves. But looking at this plant, it looks a fabulous new leaf there. Let me show you the other one. That's it over there. This is the old leaf. This is an old leaf. And you can see both these plants actually have new leaves that are coming through. And it's been less than 2 months. So, well, about 2 months. So I'm really happy with how things are going. But of course, the all-important test when you're transitioning alocasias from soil to Leca is what the root system is doing. And I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But I just want to talk about these plants, my plants. So I put a wick on these when I was potting them up the very first time. And I know some of you out there, very eagle-eyed people, were asking me, why do you have the wick when you are using the submerged setup? So in the submerged setup, the pot sits directly in the nutrient solution, so there's really no need for a wick. But I put a wick in these plants because normally, or at least a while ago, and that's generally still my practice, I usually grow my alocasias in the wick setup. And I find that since I started using the wick setup, I get a lot more success. So I put the wicks in here knowing that as time goes on with these plants, I will move them from that submerged setup and I will have them in the wick setup so that my roots are not as exposed to the nutrient solution in the reservoir as they would be if they were in the submerged setup, because that is what invariably leads to root rot. And once my plant gets root rot, it's a fast trip to mushy alocasias. But I've just picked this plant up now and I can already see 2 PP roots. I'm telling you, this method, I'm quite happy with it. Really quite happy with it. So those are the wicks for my other plant there. And you can see the little roots that are coming through there as well. So I will come closer and show you what the all-important root system is doing. So let's take a look at these roots. Look at how healthy, look at this one. This one is actually going all the way up there. I don't know where this root is going, but you can see throughout that pot, the roots are just absolutely magical. It is going gangbusters. Look at this. I don't know, is that a root or is that, it is a root. I thought maybe that might be a spot of perlite, but that's a root over there. Just looking fabulous, this Alocasia Maharani. And of course, those are the beautiful roots that are coming from my pot. Look at them. They look absolutely fantastic. So, beautiful. What I'm going to do now with this particular plant is I'm actually now at this point, the way this plant is, going to now put this in a wick setup because I don't want to jinx things. I don't want to spoil things by exposing it too much to that nutrient solution that's in the reservoir. So these wicks are now what's going to be supplying my plant with the nutrient that it needs. Oh, I forgot to show you the new leaf that's coming through there. You can see that there. That's that new leaf coming through there. Oh, I am so excited. I am so excited with this plant. It's doing beautifully. Both my Alocasia Maharanis, I now have 2. I'm so excited. Okay, let's take a look at this one. This one is good because you can actually see here, you can see the original This is the original, you can see the sort of soil and things that are in there. And those roots are actually looking quite good as well. And when I turn it around, and right there at the bottom, you can see those ones as well, looking just absolutely fantastic. Look, there's just roots. See, this is the ventilation hole there. You can see the roots there. Just beautiful. And this one as well has got that new leaf is coming through there. So this plant is also doing very well. I'm also going to put this in the wick setup at this point. So I've got these very tall planters that I'm going to place these. Hang on. I say I've got these. I actually have one. So some of you might remember this. This is my Just Add Plants planter. And you can see how very, very big it is. And I'll just whack that in there. And when I do that, my plant stays there. And this whole thing is a reservoir. So I can put probably more than 2 liters in there. And I don't have to keep coming back again and again. And I know that my alocasia is not going to be drowned. So I'm really happy with how things have gone with these alocasia plants. And honestly, the method where you are not handling the roots, I think works really, really well. Now, for those of you who may have not seen this video, take a look over here. These are some of the little snippets showing you exactly what I did with this alocasias. For this test, I'm using 2 Alocasia Maharanis. They're small but healthy with strong roots and just the right size for trying out this method. Here's what I'm using. Some pre-rinsed, pre-soaked leca, some slotted nursery pots with ventilation, and these will have cache pots as well. I'm also using a basic nutrient solution made up of Clonix clone solution and a root zone. I start by gently squeezing the sides of the nursery pot to loosen the root ball, and then I tip the plant out slowly, supporting it so it doesn't put any pressure on the roots. I give the root ball a few light shakes, like so, and whatever soil comes off easily comes off. I am not pulling at the roots or teasing them apart. I'm not rinsing anything. For this next step, I'll grab my slotted pots. These pots have got ventilation along the sides, and I really love them because they're not your typical 14 centimeter pot. These are a little bit longer than the pots I normally use. So I am going to put my wicks in my pot, just threading that through my nursery pot there, and I'll thread that through on the other side as well. So I've got my wick in place and you can see it over there. I'll now grab my leca and put leca in that nursery pot. And I have covered my wick. What I'm now going to do is put my plants into those pots, and I'll just put them at the top there, and I like that level. That is a great level. So you can see that leca is going just almost half of that pot, which is fine. That's totally fine for what I'm trying to do. And I'll just fill that pot up with leca. Got my plants completely potted up there, and I've got them on my little dish. So once they're potted up, I water from the top. I am watering from the top, exactly what you would do when you are watering your plant that's living in soil. That's exactly what happens. So I'm now going to put these pots in a very, very shallow reservoirs. These are the reservoirs that I'm using. The secret with that method is that every few weeks, every week, you make sure you take your plant and you put it under the sink and you wash it, and that allows that soil and organic matter to rinse off, and you keep doing that regularly, and this is what you're going to end up with. So I think this has worked really well. It's a method I'm probably going to be using a lot more of going forward. If you haven't seen the video where I do the whole transition for this alocasia plants, watch this next one. I'll see you there.